is taking attendance. Kyle, check. EJ, check. Dan, check. Everyone is present. And everyone's present for the Winter Olympics. EJ, the Canadian men's team practice, and the comments after when they said, how's the ice? They said, well, everyone's got to play on the same ice. So that tells me not too good.
Yeah, it's a ringing endorsement right there when they give you that answer. I mean, it's funny. I was just down at the Stadium Series last week in Tampa when they had that tent up and the guys were in there. And it's funny. Some guys are more willing to talk about the ice. And most of the guys just kind of, well, they give you that answer. Everybody's got to play on the same ice. They're doing the best they can. We'll see how it goes. I mean, hockey is a funny game, and that rink has been a bone of a contention for a while. But the point is that they do all play on the same ice, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm curious, EJ, were there complaints about the stadium ice? I thought the Stadium Series ice, I thought they'd sorted that all out by now.
There was complaints on when the tent was still up, oddly enough. Like when you talk to the guys during the practice day, there were complaints that day. And again, there was a couple of the higher profile guys who feel more comfortable being straightforward, and the guys who were kind of more back of the lineup kind of just toe the line a little bit more. But they felt, talking to the guys, most of the guys felt the ice was better on game day than it was when they were in the tent, which is kind of odd because all the conditions were controlled in the tent. But, it was pretty cold down there, so maybe that actually helped.
Do they do a player ranking of best ice in the NHL and Edmonton?
I think it's always been Edmonton for a long time. I don't know if it's as much as it was when it was in the old Northlands Coliseum / Rexall place. But, I think pretty much everybody feels like the best ice is in Edmonton. So I know that there's a lot of places, let's say across the South and Southeast that the players have been less than thrilled with. I know that years ago, Yuri Lettinen used to call Nashville Slushville. So, but I think there have been a lot of changes since Yuri retired many years ago now.
EJ, I think you could be an honorary Canadian as we sit here and chat about ice. I'm pretty sure that the three of us could sit and have a 45-minute talk about ice and have no problems.
No problem. No problem at all.
I live very near to the birthplace of the Zamboni, so I mean, I can contribute from a mechanical point of view, no problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. The great Frank Zamboni. Yeah.
So, EJ, NHL buildings all around the league right now are solidifying their ice because no one will be skating on them for a while because it's the Olympic break. But over this break, there's lots of speculation around the Toronto Maple Leafs that some pieces may be moved. And a name that's coming up a lot right now is Bobby McMann. What is the trade value for a player like Bobby McMann?
Well, I think it's going to be a seller's market because a lot of teams feel like they're still in the mix here, right? And the Toronto Maple Leafs are kind of one of those teams, even though they're 6 points out of a playoff spot right now. I think he's an interesting guy. I mean, he's got some good speed. He can play kind of a really good middle six role for a lot of teams. He's a winger, not a center, so maybe a little less appealing in that regard. But I don't know if you can get a first-round pick for him, and it would be a late first-round pick. I mean, teams that are trading for him, you would think would be teams that would have a chance to go far in the playoffs. So, it might be a second and a third, but like the bottom line for the Leafs is they are incumbent on either signing this guy or trading them before the deadline because they cannot have a situation where he leaves and they get nothing in return. This is not Mitch Marner. This is not last year when they're making a run at things. They can't afford to have that happen. For me, this little winning streak they've been on at the end of the right up to the break, kind of complicates things a little bit for management because everybody wants to try to make the playoffs. But at the end of the day, they've got to either figure if they can sign Bobby McMann, and if they can't, they have to move him, and they have to see, try to create a market for him. But I think there would be some teams interested because he can score goals and he's still a young player and he's got good foot speed.
Morgan Rielly is one of the faces of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's the nice guy. He's the kid next door you want your daughter to marry. In fact, he married a Canadian Olympian. But now I'm hearing talk of Morgan Rielly possibly being shipped out, which would be an identity change for the Leafs.
Yeah, well, he's got a no move clause for the next couple of years. He's got 4 years left on his contract at 7.5 against the cap. So those are all the important things to know. It's $24 million real dollars, so it's 6 million, I believe, over the 4 years. So it's a little less hit in terms of the real dollars, which the owners of these various teams do care about. You know, I think it's a tough trade to make, not because, listen, we all, as you pointed out, Morgan Rielly has been kind of a face of this franchise for a long time, and he's, by all accounts, a terrific guy and a good teammate. But it was pretty clear, guys, watching last year, when I thought about the Leafs and the team that was pushing forward and, won the division, that if they could have been better on defense and they could have upgraded that spot in particular, like he's really like a top in the Leafs group based on what he gets, where he's at in their career, in their team. I mean, he is supposed to be a top pair defenseman, and I just don't know if he is that for the Leafs. And I don't think it's going to get any better. So the question comes, can you find somewhere to send him? And I think if you're of the mind to do that, you have to be active in kind of identifying teams that you might be able to move him to. And, the one that comes to mind for me is the San Jose Sharks, because they only have 2 defensemen signed moving forward, Dmitry Orlov and Sam Dickinson, the young kid, right? They have a lot of older guys there that are UFAs. Who knows if they're gonna bring them back? They've got to sign Mario Ferraro, who's a 27-year-old defenseman, who's a UFA. He might decide to leave via free agency. I think they'd like to keep him, but that's a problem they have out there. The selling point to San Jose would be, listen, you got a guy that you're under control. You got 4 more years. Maybe we eat a little bit of it. It's only 6 million real dollars against the cap, and a cap where the cap is rising. He is a great guy. He is someone that can really be a helpful player for those young kids there as you develop them. And they got some young defensemen that are coming as well. So, I mean, that would be the selling point. I don't know. I don't think you really get a lot in return. I think what you get in return is cap room and a chance to kind of, reconstruct your defense, because back there, OEL 34, McCabe 32, Tanev 36, and Rielly was into his 30s as well. I mean, that defense needs to be retooled.
And EJ, it's always, we have to be careful to not give too much credit to internet talk of these trades and whatnot. But about a month ago, some rumors, I suppose, surfaced that the Oilers were looking into Nicholas Waugh. Now, again, this weekend, that has popped back up, as well as looking at Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Well, I mean, those are guys that have been on Stanley Cup winning teams, right? And Nicholas Waugh is he is what he is. He is a 3-4 center. He can slide up and help you in other areas. I think he's a really helpful player, especially at the price. I think he's still only 29 years of age. He's got a $3 million contract. I think he's got another year left. So, I think there would be interest in Nicholas Waugh, just like the Leafs went out and got him with the idea that, hey, he's going to be someone that can really help us in the playoffs. That can be a kind of a Swiss Army knife that can play in a lot of different spots for us. So, I think there would be interest in the same for OEL. I mean, he's played actually very well this year. He's kind of resuscitated his career after going to Florida a couple of years ago and winning a Stanley Cup. But these are the pieces they have to move if they so choose to move them. But, I think those guys have value. Like, if you think you can win the Stanley Cup this year, you need a piece or two, like a back-end defenseman that can kind of move around, or somebody that can help kill penalties and win faceoffs for you and be in the back end of your group as a center. I think both those guys have value.
I was just looking it up because I can't find the name, because when Kyle said internet rumors, for some reason, that mysterious trade breaker from 10, 15 years ago entered my brain. Who was that? Was it Ekman?
Eklund. Yes.
That guy's still around?
Yeah. Still around.
Oh, are you Eklund?
I am not. I've met him, but I am not him.
Wait, whoa! You've met him, because I remember Sportsnet had him like 1 year on their free agent frenzy day.
Yeah. That's a long time ago now, Dan. I mean, that's been a while, but that was a thing for a while. That was right after that first big lockout. Somewhere in there, he was kind of a thing, and but he's still kicking around.
That's
still
good.
Looking. Yeah, hey, listen, we're all trying to make a living. That's the way it goes.
He needs a resurgence. I love that guy. Well, he's like Colin the Banker on Deal or No Deal.
That's right. I remember the Banker. Yeah. He was annoying, that banker. Yeah, in the dark. Yeah.
Hey, can we go back to the Olympics?
Yeah, sure.
Auston Matthews named captain of USA.
Yeah, that's I mean, I guess wasn't he captain of the Four Nations as well? I believe he was. And I don't know. He just doesn't seem, Auston Matthews just doesn't seem like he fits that role. And as much as I thought he would be, I thought he should have been the captain of the Leafs in years gone by, before he actually got the role. It doesn't seem like it's something that he's really suited for the lack of a better term. I mean,
he's
you
not a
guys tell
rah
me.
guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even rah. It just seems like, he's not someone that are out there front and center to the media all the time, which is, and I'm not in that room, so I don't know the impact, but his personality is such, I just don't know if he's really well suited for the job. Like, for example, Brian Leetch became the captain of the Rangers after Mark Messier left years ago, and Brian Leetch was a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he was ever suited to be the captain of the team. It's just some guys, their personalities are such that, it just doesn't work for them, or they don't. Like I say, they're not suited for the job. Team USA has a lot of guys that could have been that. I would come to mind right off the top. Maybe Charlie McAvoy would be one, just because of his presence in USA hockey. I think there's a number of other guys you could think of as well. But nonetheless, Auston is in the role, and for better or worse, he's the captain of Team USA. We'll see how it goes. I mean, he's obviously a terrific player, so it is just another burden to carry as you move forward.
A lot of people up in arms about Canada's choice for captain.
Yeah, as in no one.
Literally,
Sidney Crosby will be captain of the team when he's 93. They'll be like,
yes,
yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah,
and I will have no problems with that.
Yeah, it'll be a good choice, too. I mean, the 93-year-old Sidney Crosby out there with the C for Canada. I love it. I have to do the math and figure out what Olympics that would be. But, I mean, I would say it's somewhere in the 2080s, something like that. Yeah. Well, hold on. 87, it'll be 2080. Pretty straightforward. There you go. The 2080 game, Sidney Crosby with the C.
And he'll still be a third-line center. Things will be
great
by then.
Hey, listen, he's still hanging in there with the best of them.
I thought your take on Matthews was a little harsh there, EJ. Things are going so well in Toronto right now.
True.
I don't see where the argument is
on
that at all. Okay,
I mean, I don't want to beat up Boston either. I mean, but I just I agree. There's a lot of choices, and I don't know.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. In a tournament like this, a best-on-best international tournament, teams being assembled, how important is the captaincy on this short-term tournament type of team?
Well, I think the leadership, I mean, the captaincy is important. I think the leadership group within is important. I think you listen to the guys from Team Canada last year and some of the younger guys. They talked about Sidney Crosby, his calming influence, no matter what was going on in the games, because this is a short tournament. The team that wins it will play no more than 7 games, most likely only 6. And there are going to be, because the single elimination, you go through those 60 minutes, there's going to be highs and lows and ups and downs in the game. By chance the other night I went down the rabbit hole because there's no games on right now, so I went down the rabbit hole and I'm watching the 2002 gold medal game with Team USA and Team Canada, which I was at in Salt Lake and had literally no memory of, which is kind of crazy to think about. But the only thing I remembered is the play where Pronger threw the puck through Lemieux and it went to Korea and he scored.
The best.
That was early in the game.
With Bob Cole on the call.
Bob Cole was on the call, the game I listened to. But it's crazy to have no memory of something that was, 24 years ago. But I guess that's not uncommon. But the bottom line is that, watching that game, there were swings in that game. Team USA scored early to make it 1-0. Team Canada responded, took the 2-1 lead. Team Canada had a 5-on-3 power advantage. Lemieux was in front, somehow misses an empty net and hits the post. Like, those are moments that swing in the game. Team USA tied it at 2. I mean, that game could have gone the other way. So, again, I'm sure in that Team Canada room with such a great roster, those guys were probably, we're going to get it done. We're calm. We know what we're doing here. I just think the leadership group, Kyle, to answer your question, is so important in these games because the game, like when you get down to a single elimination game, it figures to be close. And if there's unrest on your bench or nervousness on your bench, I would think that works against you. So I know Team Canada, a lot of the guys, Marner among others, talked about how Crosby was such a such a calm presence for them, and I think it does matter, especially because these games are going to be close, and there's going to be a lot at stake.
Do you guys care to guess, or do you know how many team captains are on Team Canada?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I would guess maybe 10.
Okay, 7. Kyle?
7.
7. Bang on.
Wow, Kyle!
Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, Marchand, Stone, Horvat, and Suzuki.
Join me later today for McGuire Monday, where we discuss that exact thing. I'm just kidding.
What is Marchand? You have him in there, but he's not the captain anymore.
Oh, so there's 6.
So I mean, former captain. So.
The former captain. So
yeah. That's all. Hey, listen, he was a captain. I'm willing to count that.
Speaking of captains, I have asked this question to several NHL buddies, current and former.
Okay.
And they have all said they could easily play a game without a coach or a captain.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at the Olympic team, I'm like, if any team could do it, that team could do it without either.
Well, I mean, again, the games are close and tight, and yeah, if you're playing a team where you're beating them by a few goals, it's one thing. But I mean, these are high stakes.
I'm not trying to get people out of a job. The coaches still are needed.
I think you could probably play without the captain, because as long as you have the coach there, I mean, you just want to have somebody directing traffic there on the bench. I mean, I know the point is these guys are such good players. Somebody would have to be organizing that group on the bench. So, they're not playing against bad teams. They're playing against, 3 or 4 of these teams are all pretty close, in these circumstances of the Olympics. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying that one.
EJ, what I'd love to hear from you now that we've finished the quote unquote unofficial first half of the season in the NHL. What are your biggest surprises or disappointments through the first half of the NHL season before the break?
Well, I mean, the Leafs are certainly a disappointment to me. I mean, I thought that, not that I thought they were going to be great. I think, Kyle, we talked about it, right? I thought it was going to be a bumpy ride all year. It's just been way bumpier than I thought it was going to be. And they've had these stretches early in the season. They had all those home games. They just didn't take advantage of that. I know they had some injuries and some challenges with the goaltending, but, they're certainly, a disappointment. The New York Rangers are an unbelievable disappointment. I thought they would bounce back this year and at least be a playoff team. They have a great goalie at Shesterkin. They went out and got Mike Sullivan. You'd think, and actually Mika Zibanejad has played very well this year for them in the middle. But, the JT Miller thing has been, kind of a rocky ride with him as the captain and dealing with some injuries. And, they end up moving Panarin out of there now. And so, that's been a tremendous disappointment. The Devils are sitting there right next to them. They had a good start to the season. They're bottoming out, and there's all this, Jack Hughes didn't play before the break, and was he trying to make sure he's healthy for the Olympics, and is he responsible to be part of his team? So those were certainly disappointments. I would say there's been a lot of surprises. Look at Buffalo. I mean, I like their team, I like their players, but they just never seem to get out of their own way. But they are on a run right now that's been terrific. I think Tampa has been a great story just because they've had a number of injuries, and yet here they are. They're playing as well as anybody in the league. Forget about in their division or in their conference. So they've been a good story. I mean, Colorado got off to the great start out west. I mean, they've kind of cooled off now in January. Those are the teams for me. And the Pacific is weird this year because, like Vegas, you would think, and Edmonton should be better, and yet they're kind of meandering through the season. They're still sitting, in the first 2 spots in their division, but, neither team has really taken off yet. We'll see if they can after the break.
EJ, you're the best, buddy.
Well, I don't know if I'm the best, but I'm okay.
And what color is that sweater? What color would you call that? Salmon?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to
electric salmon.
I'm going to have to leave that to guys like yourself.
No, leave it with Kyle's like electric salmon. That sounds cool.
Kyle is a man of much fashion. So, I mean, he would be someone that I could lean on to give us the correct answer. And I think he did give us the correct answer.
All right, let's go have ourselves a Monday.
All right. See you guys.